You know what's cool about our planetarium? Not only is it inflatable, it's also mobile. But today, Philip is going to take us a little bit deeper into the outer space.
Welcome to the Planetarium of the Cape Town Science Centre. I am your host, Philip Engelbrach. Now, all of us here have looked up into the sky on a clear summer's evening, and we have all seen those twinkling islands of light that we call stars. Our relationship with stars is one of both fascination and indifference. Every night, when all of us come from work or when we go out to a friend's place, we all see those twinkling lights in the sky, but most of us think nothing much of them, right? Well, today I will be showing you that those tiny points of light that we take for granted every single day are actually objects that are so massive, so bizarre, so awe inspiring that you would think that this is something from a sci fi movie. So sit back, relax, and let me take you on a journey through the stars. Now, every journey has a beginning, and most of us start our journeys at home. So I'll be starting our journey at home. And this is our home. And we call this Earth. On this little blue marble, over 7 billion people are living out their day to day lives. Now, the one constant that we have in all of our lives is that the sun will rise every morning and set every evening. Our sun, which is also called Sol, hence the term solar energy or solar radiation, lies at the very center of our solar system. And just like those many other twinkling lights that we see in the night sky, our sun is a star. But unlike many of the other stars that we see in the night sky, our sun is a tiny star. We call this type of star a yellow dwarf star. Now, although our sun might be tiny compared to other stars, it is still quite massive, right? It has a diameter of about 1.3 million kilometers. As we can see here, look how big it is compared to Jupiter and Saturn and all the other planets. Now, over a million Earths can fit inside our sun. Deep within our sun's core, over 600 million tons of hydrogen is being converted into helium via a fiery process called nuclear fusion. Because of this, our sun burns bright and it releases a lot of heat. Now, because of that, our sun is our life giver. Without our sun, me, you, and every other living organism on Earth would not exist. In fact, if our sun was not created, all the other planets that we see within our solar system would not have existed. Our sun is one out of 100 billion stars believed to be in our galaxy alone. Our closest neighbor, which we call Proxima Centauri, which can be found in the Southern Cross, is over 4.2 light years away from us. Now, that might not seem like much for us, but the distances between stars is almost incomprehensible. To try and understand how far that really is, if I were to make my sun as big as a basketball, our planet Earth would only be 27 meters away. Jupiter will be over 145 meters away from this basketball. However, Proxima Centauri would be over 7,800 kilometers away. Meaning, if I had my basketball here in Cape Town, my friend would have to then take an aeroplane all the way to Brazil to represent the distance between these two stars. Now, you see, guys, the universe is so big, it is so massive, that even if we could travel at the speed of light, we would literally be going nowhere slowly. The stars in our universe occur in many different shapes and sizes as well as colors. Some stars are massive titans, while others are tiny little dwarfs like our sun. Some stars will burn bright blue, while others will burn a gentle red. Let's take Bellatrix for instance. Found in the constellation of Orion, Bellatrix is a giant blue star that is over 9 times as heavy as our sun. Now, Bellatrix is a greedy giant and consumes many amounts of hydrogen, far more than our sun will ever consume in its lifetime. Because of that, Bellatrix burns a lot hotter. And because it's burning a lot hotter, the light that Bellatrix releases is shifted to the blue side of the spectrum, thus making the star burn blue. Because Bellatrix consumes so much hydrogen, it's going to die a lot sooner. During that process, Bellatrix will turn into a red giant star, such as the one called Betelgeuse. Now, Betelgeuse is a lot bigger than Bellatrix. That is what happens when a blue star starts expanding during the end of its lifetime. Betelgeuse is so big that half our solar system will be able to fit inside of it. One day, Betelgeuse's fate will be sealed, and it will literally go out with a bang in a massive explosion we call a supernova. Now, from our perspective from Earth, Betelgeuse will go from being a tiny little red point of light in the sky to being almost as bright as the moon, or even brighter than the moon, for a few weeks. And it could even be viewed during the day. Now, our universe is one of wonder and beauty. Wherever we go, we can find awe-inspiring structures, such as the pillars of creation, which are these three little spires that are found in this enormous dust cloud, which are over 3.5 light years across. Or other objects can include the Crab Nebula, which are the remnants of a massive supernova explosion that occurred over 1,000 years ago when an old star blew itself to smithereens, the light of which was actually observed by ancient Chinese astronomers in the 10th AD century. Now, there's something very odd that lurks deep within the Crab Nebula, and we call this strange object the Crab Pulsar. Now, what the Crab Pulsar is, it's basically a rapidly rotating object that is over 1.5 times the mass of our Sun. Now, although it's 1.5 times as heavy as our Sun, it only occupies an area of about 20 kilometers. So something that's over 1.5 times heavier than the Sun can fit inside of Cape Town. Now, what does that tell us? That tells us that this object is extremely dense. It is so dense that if we had to take 1 teaspoon of this pulsar, it would weigh over 2 billion tons. That is as much as a mountain. So picture taking the whole of Table Mountain, the whole mountain range, and squishing it down so that it could fit on top of a teaspoon. That is how dense this object is. As I've said, our universe is one of wonder and beauty. But we should be careful where we travel, for there are places that hide monsters that are so powerful that they devour everything and anything in sight. And we have a name for those monsters. We call these monsters black holes. The closest known black hole to Earth is one that we call Sagittarius A star, and it lies in the very heart of our galaxy. Now, Sagittarius A star is a beast. It's over 4 million times as heavy as our Sun. And its gravity is so powerful that even light is drawn towards that black hole in the center, also called the event horizon, and that light is never seen again. Now, the only way that we discovered this black hole was when we observed massive orange and blue stars, like the one that we can see here, appear to be orbiting this invisible point in space. Scientists then deduced that the only object powerful enough to pull these stars into orbit was a supermassive black hole. Now, although this black hole is extremely big and powerful, it is of no threat to us, for we are simply too far away to be sucked towards its center. Now, guys, that is all we have to show for our planetarium tour. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that next time when you look up into the stars, you actually look at them with a little bit more awe and wonder. If you would like to see more of the planetarium, feel free to come visit the Cape Town Science Centre and come with me on a journey through the stars. Thank you.
I wonder if we'll ever be able to walk amongst the stars like we did in our planetarium. Well, actually, believe it or not, we go up to the stars and the moon every day, or quite often, let me say. But sometimes the things we send up fall back onto Earth, and we can learn a little bit more about that from Imra. Or we can meet up with Jared in another special room, our light room.